Well, Black and White Network, yesterday the Supreme Court said that Donald Trump did have immunity because he was the president. Now, on official acts only, not personal acts. So now a lower court will have to determine what is a personal act and what is a presidential act. And I believe, guys, I didn't even mention this in my last video, man. That Fani Willis case in Georgia, that thing is dead for sure. Because everything that Trump did was an official presidential act. Now, I'm pretty sure Democrats are going to try and finagle things. So we have to see what happens with that. But yesterday, after the Supreme Court said, yes, Trump has presidential immunity, Biden's handlers decided to actually wheel this man out and speak for a grand total of about less than 5 minutes. He took no questions whatsoever. None. Joe Biden, man, really didn't want Donald Trump to have any immunity. Well, if that's the case, your former boss, Barack Obama, should actually be brought up on charges. And you, by the way, too, as well, for your crimes. I mean, Joe Biden is an absolute disaster, man. Him coming out and slamming the Supreme Court for that decision is pathetic. It really is pathetic, man. If presidents didn't have any immunity whatsoever. Now, I'm pretty sure Joe Biden wants immunity. I'm pretty sure he does, but he doesn't want President Trump to have immunity. Joe Biden was definitely desperate to have these cases move forward. He thought it would help him. And boy, it's backfiring, guys. It is backfiring. So we need to react to this video of Beijing Biden going and addressing the press, answering no questions, none. Because this man is so weak and pathetic, man. He probably couldn't stand there and answer questions. That's not what Joe Biden does. And I'm pretty sure his handlers, if he started answering questions, they would have got him out of there. So let's get into this, guys. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, become a channel member. Member live stream every single Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you're watching on Rumble, click the join button to get access to the same thing. And everyone can support us also on blackandwhitenetwork.com or locals. Check the link in the description. Here we go, guys. This is Beijing Biden. Walk it up. And let's go ahead and play it.
Good evening. The presidency is the most powerful office in the world. It's an office that not only tests your judgment, perhaps even more importantly, it's an office that can test your character. Because you not only face moments when you need the courage to exercise the full power of the presidency, you also face moments where you need the wisdom to respect the limits of the power of the office of the presidency. This nation was founded on the principle that there are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law, not even the President of the United States. With today's Supreme Court decision on presidential immunity, that fundamentally changed. For all practical purposes, today's decision almost certainly means that there are virtually no limits on what a president can do. This is a fundamentally new principle, and it's a dangerous precedent, because the power of the office will no longer be constrained by the law, even including the Supreme Court of the United States. The only limits will be self-imposed by the president alone. This decision today has continued the court's attack in recent years on a wide range of long-established legal principles in our nation, from gutting voting rights and civil rights to taking away a woman's rights.
We hear this all the time from Democrats. Gutting voting rights? Whose voting rights have been eliminated? No one's. They make this stuff up, man.
Right to choose, to today's decision that undermines the rule of law of this nation. Nearly 4 years ago, my predecessor sent a violent mob to the U.S. Capitol to stop the peaceful transfer of power. We all saw it with our own eyes. We sat there and watched it happen that day.
That's another lie right there. Donald Trump did not send those people to attack the Capitol. That's another lie right there.
Attack on the police, the ransacking at the Capitol, a mob literally hunting down the House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, God.
Gallows erected to hang the Vice President, Mike Pence.
God.
I think it's fair to say it's one of the darkest days in the history of America. Now the man who sent that mob to the U.S. Capitol is facing potential criminal conviction for what happened that day. And the American people deserve to have an answer in the courts before the upcoming election. The public has a right to know the answer about what happened on January 6th before they are asked to vote again this year. Now, because of today's decision, that is highly, highly unlikely. It's a terrible disservice to the people of this nation. So now the American people have to do what the courts should have been willing to do, but will not. The American people have to render a judgment about Donald Trump's behavior. The American people must decide whether Donald Trump's assault on our democracy on January 6th makes him unfit for public office in the highest office in the land. The American people must decide if Trump's embrace of violence to preserve his power is acceptable. Perhaps most importantly, the American people must decide if they want to entrust the president once again, the presidency, to Donald Trump, now knowing he'll be even more emboldened to do whatever he pleases whenever he wants to do it. You know, at the outset of our nation, it was the character of George Washington, our first president, that defined the presidency. He believed power was limited, not absolute, and that power always resides with the people, always. Now, over 200 years later, with today's Supreme Court decision, once again, it will depend on the character of the men and women who hold that presidency that are going to define the limits of the power of the presidency, because the law will no longer do it. I know I will respect the limits of the presidential powers I have for 3.5 years, but any president, including Donald Trump, will now be free to ignore the law. I concur with Justice Sotomayor's dissent today. Here's what she said. She said, in every use of official power, the president is now a king above the law. With fear for our democracy, I dissent. End of quote. So should the American people dissent. I dissent. May God bless you all, and may God help preserve our democracy. Thank you. And may God protect our troops.
See, they're asking, will he drop out the race? This dude, man, he's fragile, man. That was really pathetic right there. That was really pathetic. He actually goes out there and says that basically he's saying he follows the law, even though he's allowed millions upon millions of illegal aliens to come into this country that have broken the law. Joe Biden is pro-criminal, man. He has broken the law. But nothing's happened to Joe Biden. Joe Biden actually was found to willfully hold classified documents. Nothing's happened to him. He did it. He wasn't even the president. He was the VP and he was a senator. This was pathetic, man. Couldn't even answer one question from the media. And he thinks this is going to work? His handlers thinks this is actually going to help him? No, it's not. No, it's not. That man was reading from a script. A script. Less than 5 minutes. More like about 4 minutes, a little over 4 minutes, something like that. Yeah, this is awful, man. But that's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Network fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch you next time.